Hello everyone, welcome back to Apex Hours. My name is Amit Singh from SBC Panther, and we are in day 5 of our Flow Builder series. So in this video, we are going to talk about auto launch flow, and this is going to be fun because we are going to learn a lot new thing over here. And we'll also talk about what are the different types of auto launch flows. Then we are going to create two or three practical flows over here, which are somehow related to the near real-time requirements. And then we are going to call this auto launch flow from our process builder. So basically what we are going to do here is we are going to use the process builder. We are going to use the flow builder over here. And even if you want, you cannot use process builder. You can directly use flow builder that we will also discuss. But here the whole agenda is to show you how you can call the auto launch flows from the process builder as well. So this is the introduction of our auto launch flows. As name suggests, these flows can be launched automatically based on certain conditions or certain situations which we met based on our process builder conditions that we can have. Or we can also call these auto launch flows with the help of our DML operations like insert, update, or delete. So if there is any insert, which can be a before insert or after insert, similarly before or after delete and update, we can also call these. Type of auto launch flows, we have already discussed this into the introduction video of our flows, but still these are four types of flows. One is record triggered flow. Basically, it is going to trigger whenever there is any DML on the record. Then there is a scheduled flow, which we can schedule the flow on like weekly or daily or monthly basis. Then we have got auto launch flow, which is non-triggered flow. This is what we are going to talk about in this video. And then there is platform event trigger. So suppose that there is some sort of platform event. You wanted to trigger your auto launch flow. You can trigger with that as well. So let's quickly talk about what is the scenario that we are going to discuss for this particular video. First thing that we will do is we'll create a custom label which is going to be the account records which have industry as a education. So basically we have a label, a custom label in the account record, and we'll say that whenever a new account record is created as a industry value as a education, we are going to update the description of that account record with the help of the value which is there inside a custom label. That is one thing that we are going to do. Second thing what we are going to do is whenever an account is created, what we need to do is we need to create the task under the same account. We'll say subject is going to be call, due date is today's date, description is whatever the account description that we have, then related to ID is going to be the account ID, and owner ID is going to be your account owner ID. So the first task that you have is updating the account. Second task that you have is creating a task. And then the third one is that we also need to do a chatter notification under the same account. And this is going to be the format for that chatter notification. So what we'll say that we'll say the account, we're going to use the account name over here has been created. We will say created by name on created date. This is what we need to post into the chatter notification. So we've got number 1, number 2, and then number 3. So these are the 3 tasks that we are going to perform with the flow. Now, without making any delay, let's quickly start with creating the custom label and then creating the flow builder. So log into your Salesforce environment where you are working on, and you can follow along with me. Just go ahead, navigate to labels, and under user interface, you'll find custom labels. Click on new label, and here we will say that description, or we'll say instead of description, we'll say that account description. And we'll say that this is just a simple description, or you can have any value that you wanted to have. So we'll say that whatever it is going to have. Go ahead and save it. Now to create the flow, you already know how we go ahead and create a flows. We'll go to the flow builder. And once you are here in this screen, you need to select auto launch flow. The reason is we are selecting auto launch flow with no trigger because we are going to create this flow we are going to call this flow from our process builder. So we'll say, okay, next, and we are going to use auto layout. And once we have got auto layout, the very first thing that we need to know is, as our requirement says, we need to update the account, right? So we must need to get the account ID. So to get that account ID, to take the input from the process builder, we'll create a resource and we'll say that variable, and we can say name record ID. You can name it anything because we are going to call this from a process builder. So it can be anything. Data type will be text and it is going to be available for input because we are going to take the input from the process builder. Click on done. We have got this variable. Next thing what we need to do is we need to update the account. So we'll just go ahead and click on add element. This time we are going to use update records because we are going to update a record. So we'll say that okay, and we'll say that update account record. And we are going to specify, use the IDs where the field values, okay, specify the condition. So we'll select specify condition. Now select account. What we'll say is we'll use account ID. This is going to be equal to the variable that we have got record ID. Then what we will validate here, sorry, we will update, we'll say set field value for account record. So we'll say that description is going to be the label what we have. So we'll use the global variable called label and we'll use account description. This is what we have. So now we have done with this like updation of account record. We can just click on done. Next thing that we need to do is we need to create a flow. We need to create a task record. So what we will do is, so to create a task record, we need few things. What few things are there? So if you go to again here, we need the account ID we already have, but we need the account owner ID, right? But we don't have that account owner ID. So what we will do is we will go to the flow, we'll click on new resource, and we will create one more variable. We will say that owner ID. And this owner ID we will pass from our process builder so that we can have owner ID as well. So we'll say that update input. So we've got now two variables, owner ID and record ID. Now let's quickly go ahead and create a task. So what we'll do is we'll say that, okay, we have got create a record. You can have that create record, say select. So what you wanted to have, you wanted to update the literal values. We'll select that. We will select the object called task. And here we can have values. So what we have got subject. So subject, we are going to say that whatever the subject we have, it is call. That's what we discussed. Then we have got description. So description is going to be our account description. So we say that, okay, we have got account record from update account record. So we say, okay, and then click on dot. Okay, this is, okay, we will not get the description. Basically description we can have from the label because this is what we are getting the description of our account. Then we have got owner ID. So owner ID is going to be the whatever owner we are getting from our variable. Then we have got related to ID. Okay, so related to ID is basically it is going to be what ID. Okay, this is the one. And then we will say it is going to related to account. We have one more field which is due date. So we will say activity which is due date only. And this time we are going to say that we have got let's say if we have some variable which is going to give us the date format. So we have got flow dot current date. Okay, that is what we actually need to have. If we go if we get back to our requirement, it says that due date should be of today's date. So we have got current date. Or if you wanted to use something else, say that you've got full flow and you've got current date time, or you have some sort of formula you can use, like or 7 days for the, from now, like next 7 days, like a kind of things. What we will say do is we'll say that create task record and click on done. So we got it over here. We say that, okay, create task record. We say that update record, create task record. Next thing that we need to do is we need to post the chatter notification. Okay, so how we are going to post the chatter notification? So for posting that chatter notification, we'll just go ahead and click on done, and this time we'll select an action. That is going to be your chatter notification. In the action, what you will search is you will search for chatter. So you will see here post to chatter. There are multiple actions you can have here. You can select, see here on the left hand side, there are multiple things. You can have the categories, you can have the types like core actions, which are provided by Salesforce, then Apex actions, then email alert. So these are the various actions that you have. And you can also get all these details here like users, then groups, task. You can have the action from here as well for creating a task. So you can say here, say the task. We don't have, I think, the action for create. We don't have, yeah. But we have all, and then we will say that post to chatter. We'll select post to chatter. Now what we'll say is post to chatter. What message is there? What is the target? So target is going to be the record ID, because this is going to be our okay. So we'll say that this is what we have got, and then message we need to provide, right? So how we are going to get this the message here? So we will say that an account, then we need the account name has been created, right? So we'll say that has been created by, then here it is going to be the created by name, then it is going to be created date. Okay, so we will say that okay, we have got whatever the created date we have got something over here. Now here, if we wanted to use some global variable, I'm not quite sure if you can use over here. So let this message be like this, copy and click on done. To store the first thing, we need account name, then we need owner name. Okay, sorry, created by name. So we'll create two more variables, because account name we can also have, we also have can have the owner name. So we will say okay, we are going to create a variable. We'll create account name. It is going to text available for input. Then we are also going to have a variable which is going to be owner name, sorry, created by name. And this is also going to be a type text available for input, and click on done. Okay, now what you have to do is, for using that message, we need to create a resource. Okay, because we cannot directly use the variables there inside that message. So what we'll do is we'll create a new resource. We'll say that variable, and we will say that chatter message. And then this time data type is going to be your, let's say we have got formula. Okay, so where is that? Okay, I think from variables itself we need to select formula, chatter message. Okay, data type here it is going to text. Now we will paste our formula, our whatever we have copied, right? So now we will say here we need to have the account name. So we will say account name has been created by, here we are going to use created by name, on here we are going to use flow dot created date, because this is when the account has been created. Okay, so now what we have is we have got the message over here inside a message, inside a formula called chatter message, and we have prepared what message we wanted to input as a chatter. So we will just go ahead and click on done, and now get back to your chatter notification and then edit element. So what we have is, just double click on that. For message here, this time just select your chatter message. Now you have got whatever the chatter message is there, and then click on done, and then go ahead and click on save. So we'll say that account flow with chatter message. I have saved this. Okay, so you want to add a fault path here, because there might be some error while updating. So you can add a fault path. You can add a fault path for creating the contact as well, and similarly you can add a fault path for your chatter notification as well. Okay, so now we have got this fault path. Now what we can have here is, we can some sort of have an action. So what action we can have is, let's suppose that if there is any error, click on actions and say we are going to send an email alert. Okay, so we say that send email alert. So it says send email, and you have the body will say that error occurred while updating account record. Okay, this is what basically the error is. You can also have some sort of say that you have got what we say, you've got a formula field like the chatter message, you can have that. And then similarly you can have this the subject as well. If you want to have email address to whom you wanted to send, so you can say whatever, you have got a user, and then you can say email. Okay, does it have user dot? Okay, we can have basically the email collection, say that I wanted to send it to sfdcpanther@gmail.com or some other email, right? Okay, this is, I think this is not the correct one. This is the correct one. We can have that over here. If you have some rich text formatted body, you can also have, you can just send a type, you can select, or who it's sending, you can select whatever the email is from it is being sent, and you can just have say, okay, send, done. Okay, or instead of sending an email, you can have some sort of actions as well, like creating a task or something else. So for example, for creating a task, there is something error, so you just go ahead and click on add, and if there is any error, you can try to have some sort of, again say that okay, you have uh, create a record again, or you update a record. So say create a record, here we say that create a follow-up task, and you can have whatever the task you wanted to have. Is there is any error or whatever, like subject is going to be the mandatory thing, so you just need to provide the subject. You can have say that let's say that other, or you can say whatever due date is. You can again use a flow and something like current date, and then you can have say that description, uh, say that updates account task creation failed, something kind of things. So you can have multiple things, right? You might need to call some sort of epic classes that we say into the coming videos, kind of things. You've got that. You from here as well, you can add a fault path, and you can just keep rolling on that. Then you have a chatter notification. If there is something of a fault path, you can have some sort of say that we are going to pause the flow here. You can pause the flow as well, say that we don't want it to have anything for here. So quite a long process, but easy. So you see here, just updating the account, fault, creating a task, fault, and posting the chatter notification. For updating an account and posting the chatter notification, there were few variables which were needed, like account name, created by name, owner ID, and record ID. That's why we created all these variables over here. Now, as a best practice, before we go ahead and activate this and call from the process builder, we just always debug here. Now here it says that run flow in rollback mode. So we'll say that, okay, it is going to roll back whatever changes it will make. Okay. Account name will just going to say that Amit Singh, created by ID is also going to be the Amit Singh. Owner ID and record ID we can find. So we'll just go ahead. This is the record ID which we are going to use over here. And then we are going to use the same owner. So we'll find this is the owner ID that we have. So we've got all these. So click on run. So as this is auto launch flow, it is not going to open into the next window. We'll just see over here. It says that something error. I think there is some error. So we'll just go ahead and refresh this. There might be some error while updating or something else. So we'll see what exactly happened. We are just trying to debug again. We'll just see here what actually happens. Okay, there is some error. We are actually not getting what exactly the error is. And as we are getting into this spinner things, we are not able to find out what exactly, why and where exactly the error is. Okay, so basically it is saying that the formula chatter message formula expression is invalid, extra account. So we'll just go here. Okay, okay, so we've got here So what exactly it is saying that a formula is invalid. So we'll just go ahead and find out what exactly is there. So we say here it is having account name created by name. So we have got account name is, it is not exactly the error. So we'll say, okay. So there were some error because we are trying to refer these variables in the formula. That is why we are not actually able to get those. So what I did is to fix that. I copied that formula from there and then stored, like use that formula to the message. Now we can try to debug it. Okay, it is saying that some sort of there is some error. So we'll go ahead and save it before that. Not error, actually unsaved changes. We'll debug it. So we are going to use whatever the account name we have, who is going to be the owner, and then account record ID. So we have to find out from our Salesforce. So we can have this, and then we can also have the owner ID from here. Now we have got the input for all these variables. We'll just go ahead and click on run. And now you see here we've got completed. There is no such error it is showing us. If you see here, you can see expand all. So how the interview started, it updated the description. Okay, then it created a task under this particular account, and this is the task ID. Then it posted to the chatter notification. Okay, and then that has been finished. So as I haven't selected the rollback flow, we can get back to our account record and try to figure out what exactly happened. Are we able to see the task which has been created by flow? Are we able to see the chatter notification which has been made? So first thing we'll see here on the chatter, you can see here we are able to see all these things. And then if you go to the activity, we can see here under the call, we have got this is what we have got, and whatever we have provided the information, we are able to get that. So that is good. That means because our flow is working, we'll get back here, say edit flow and activate it. Now, as this is the auto launch flow, this is not a record triggered flow. We have to call this from a process builder. So we'll quickly search and go ahead process builder. And from the process builder, we are going to create one process builder on top of account. So how we are going to do this here under the process builder, just go ahead. We have got one here, account, say click on new, account process builder. You need to select when the process starts, when a record changes, it can be update or create. Go ahead and click on save. Once you have saved this, it is going to ask in which object you are going to have. So just select account. Okay. And then we'll select only when the record is created. And we are going to basically save this. And then it is asking criteria. So if you remember, industry is education. Okay. So we have got this, industry is education. So we will select here, we say industry. It is going to equal, as it is a pick list, so we'll select education. I may go ahead and save it. So we have the process builder for the object in place. We have the condition in place. Now what we need to do is we just need to call the flow. So just select flows from here and then say here, call, this is going to your flow, this flow. And here we are going to have account flow with chatter message. Select that. Now it is saying that set flow variables, we'll say add row. We have got 4 variables which we need to pass. So first thing, we have got the record ID. So record ID is going to be the reference and it is going to be our account ID. Okay. So select account ID. This is the one. Then we have got owner ID. That is also going to be the field reference and we will select owner ID. And this time for account name, let's say it is going to the field reference and it is going to be name. account name, this is the one. And the last that variable we have got is basically created by name. So we'll say created by name, field reference, and here we will search for created by, we got ID, and then we'll search for name over here. So if you find name, so we can say here first name or last name. So let's say that first name, okay, and choose it. So now once we have done this, you just need to go ahead, and what you need to do is save it. So what you have done, you created a flow and you created a process builder and you call the flow from the process builder. One thing that is left is activating the process builder. So we have activated both the flows now, process builder and flow builder. Now the time is to create a new account record over here. So we'll just go ahead and click on create new. You can select if you have a record type, as I had, so I selected business account. Now you can search here, say that if you wanted to have University of California, you can search of, you can have some sort of account over there. So I'm selecting, say that Universal Health Services. I'm going to select whatever this is, parent account, and then industry. This is going to be the main thing. We'll select education. And once we'll select education, we'll see what the magic is happening. So just go ahead and click on save it. If there is any error while executing the process builder, we'll see the error. If not, we will see the success message. We got the call over here. We got the chatter notification over here. And if you go to the detail, so in the detail page, you will also see the description over here. This is a simple description. So that is how your auto launch trigger works, which doesn't have any record trigger. That means they are not being called from a record trigger changes. And this is it for this video. Thank you for your time. And in the next video, we'll talk about record triggered flows. There will be the various trigger flows which you are going to develop. And before we go ahead, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe the channel, and we will meet you into the next video. Thank you.